Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA. On today's show, we have breaking news in the NBA. Chauncey Billups and Rozier have been arrested. We'll tell you everything you need to know. Plus, Victor Wembanyama put on a show in the season opener. What does it say about how far he and the Spurs can go this season? You are Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On NBA. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app, thanks for making us your first listen every day. I'm Wes Goldberg, and today we're talking about some unprecedented news, including the arrest of a current NBA head coach. We're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always, from the Locked On Nuggets podcast. He's a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt?
X-ray glasses, contact lenses. This is like an Austin Powers script. This is a ridiculous story that was unfolding this morning.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, also a Bears and Bulls creator for Bleacher Report, it's Haize.
I was super excited about the NBA season starting back so we can kind of avoid the salacious stories. But the NBA said, hold our beer. We got something for you.
Yeah.
Nothing but scandals, right, in the NBA right now. But look, it was a wild night in the NBA. Pac-12 game slate. We do have some of our big takeaways later on in the show, but we have to start with breaking news from this morning that the FBI has arrested Rozier and Chauncey Billups in connection to illegal gambling. Rozier was arrested in Orlando this morning after the Heat lost to the Magic on Wednesday night, and Chauncey Billups was arrested this morning in Portland after coaching the Trailblazers in their season-opening loss to the Timberwolves. FBI Director Kash Patel said the arrests are linked to a larger sting that included 30-plus arrests and tens of millions of dollars being funneled to the mafia. He said, quote, "The fraud is mind-boggling," end quote. Now, obviously, guys, we'd rather be leading the show today with basketball, but Matt, this is a story that is impossible to ignore. What's your immediate reaction to this news?
So Rozier was involved in this discussion, and the NBA had said that they had cleared him. The federal investigators had never cleared him, continued to kind of look at it. This is tied to the Jonte Porter stuff. It's an ongoing investigation that was broad. The fact that it involves the mafia, I think, is deeply scary and concerning and shows this kind of side of it. The Chauncey Billups part, I think, is the most impactful from a basketball standpoint. This is the head coach of an NBA team who's been arrested by the FBI. Like, that's an incredible story. One thing I would stress as this conversation unfolds is for, if you are somebody that doesn't like to gamble and don't care for gambling, at least try and understand the mechanisms that are in place for why this got caught before making opinions or assertions. Like, I see a lot of folks that just don't know this side of things, and you need to understand how it happened, how it got caught, and what the consequences are, I think, before levying any sort of like, this is what should happen next.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a scandal, and it's definitely, something that is concerning when you talk about mafia ties and all that of what's going on. And especially after the Portland Trailblazers actually, led most of the way against the Minnesota Timberwolves, like the FBI said, no, we can't have too much more of that. But all jokes aside, like, this is a very serious matter. Have we ever had a sitting NBA coach arrested for anything, much less an FBI sting? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I know of.
So,
it's obviously incredibly impactful. We could talk about, there's just so much going on with the investigation. Details are still coming out as we're talking about this. Let's focus for our purposes, though, on the basketball product. The Portland Trailblazers, we're kind of going for it this year, right? They make the move to acquire Jrue Holiday. They signed Chauncey Billups to a contract extension in April, and they're obviously going to have some sort of interim coach for some amount of time. I don't really know. Again, all of these things are very unclear. But for a Blazers team, to your point, Haize, that pushed the Timberwolves last night, it took Anthony Edwards scoring 41 points, hitting a couple of really big shots in the last couple of minutes of that game to beat Portland in Portland. But that looked like a team that was at least trying to make a push for the play-in tournament. How does this impact them, Haize?
I mean, it impacts them huge. Not only is it, I'm sure, a distraction. I know we like to think of these guys that they can just block everything out, but like, it's a big distraction when your head coach is gone and for the reasons why that they're gone. But on top of that, like you want just one band, one sound. And as much as I don't necessarily think Chauncey's like the greatest coach. I think he's a solid coach for what he's shown so far. I mean, he inherited a situation that already wasn't the best, and the Portland Trailblazers are trying to finally right the ship. They have a lot of young talent down there that is looking really good. They just locked some guys up. And so this is a time where you would want them to be able to just focus on basketball. And unfortunately, that's not going to be able to happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a distraction. Might be okay. I was kind of like, my biggest concern with the Blazers kind of was Chauncey from a coaching perspective, where he had done a pretty terrible job his first 2 years on the job, to the point where people around the league were very convinced he was going to get fired last November. And then they had a run last year that got them enough confidence for them to sign him to the extension. Whoops. I'm not entirely sure that there's like a huge bottoming out here. I don't think it's good for a young team to be in this position. Certainly not. But I also think that it's not maybe the worst possible outcome here of all worlds from a basketball standpoint. The other thing I'll say is, if you're listening, do kind of need to lay out some of the details here, which is like Billups' side of this was not involved with match fixing, point shooting, anything like that. Billups was basically a ringer that the mafia, this is a crazy story, used to bring in big fish to poker games and then cheat them out of their money. And the implication obviously here is that like Billups was aware of that setup. Again, just an absolutely insane story and an insane risk for a guy with his money to be taken. But that's, I think, important to kind of note as we go along here.
I just want to read the following statement from the NBA. This was released while we were recording just now. We are in the process of reviewing the federal indictments announced today. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams. We will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority. End of statement. So there it is. Now at least we know that these Billups and Terry Rozier will be on leave. Also involved in this was Damon Jones, who was tied to a little bit of both of these things, former NBA player and former NBA coach Damon Jones. So his name also came up. But again, 30 plus arrests being done with this, most of them tied to mafia families, and then Billups, Rozier, and Jones kind of being used in this and being tied to it and linked to it as well. The sports gambling part of this, to your point, Matt, it's a sensitive topic. The NBA had recently entered essentially a partnership with sports gambling companies. Really embrace sport. It was kind of the first league to embrace sports gambling in a big way, at least publicly, and kind of make it part of their content product. Did the NBA embrace sports gambling too quickly? And the only reason I ask this, Matt, is because you've seen Adam Silver come out recently and say things like, hey, we're working with these sports gambling companies to maybe take minor player prop bets off the board for like after in the wake of the Jonte Porter news and things like that. And it kind of feels like, hey, if they hadn't maybe gone as quickly into these partnerships, maybe that's stuff that could have been handled before these partnerships and before these sports gambling probes became an issue, and sports gambling apparently among players became an issue. We had the Jonte Porter thing, now this Terry Rozier thing potentially, where he could be he could be kicked out of the league just like Jonte Porter. Again, all things pending right now. But Matt, did the NBA go a little too fully and too quickly into the sports gambling thing?
If you're not into gambling, you're going to think yes. The difference here, I need to really stress this. Sports betting existed before the legalization, the overturn of PASPA in 2019. Like this was an activity that was going on, and it was happening in offshore markets, which are not able to be regulated by any U.S. entity. You can monitor activity, but there are ways around that to disguise to encrypt that. Like, the question you need to be asking is what happened before we had these mechanisms? Because in the Jonte Porter case, if these bets were logged at U.S. sports books and not exchanges, which is a whole other topic I'm not going to get into, if that happened, a big reason that these bets were flagged is because of systems in place by the U.S. sportsbook in coordination with state regulatory agencies to flag them. That would have been the initial, like, hey, something is off here. These players should not be taking this amount of bets. Like Terry Rozier's under should not be generating this amount of action on it. And that mechanism is only available because of legalization for the state to coordinate with the NBA and the sports books. So a big thing here, if you ask the NBA honestly what they think the best thing here to do is, it's to have a national regulation of it. It's federal regulation of sports books so that you don't have different state systems trying to talk to each other. Like, they want more expansion of this. And finally, all I'll say is you can't be like, oh, I'm so happy for the players. They get paid. I'm so glad that guy got paid. Part of the reason they're getting this money is because of this. And this is through, like, I see media members doing this where they're talking about, like, this is why you don't do this. And their very entity that pays their bills is taking money from the sports books. I understand wanting to get rid of it. I don't mind anybody having that kind of mindset. If you're not into it, why would you want to deal with all this? Why do you want the ads? Why do you want the nonsense? But you need to keep in mind the ramifications of what this means and what's going to go forward and the reality of what's going to happen, because there's too much money involved for the NBA to just be like, no, we're cool, thanks.
We're going to put a pause in this conversation now, but to your point, Matt, Adam Silver is out there, is pushing for those federal regulations, so it is something that he's at least talked about publicly. We did have 12 games of basketball get played on Wednesday night. We're going to talk about that in our Locked On Top 100 rankings. We ranked Victor Wembanyama the 7th best player in the league. Last night, he might have made that ranking look a little bit too low. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with a high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. I love that you're getting the same quality service that you had before, but for a fraction of the price. The setup is super easy. You keep your number, and then you're running in minutes. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on the unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Today's episode is also brought to you by Rozier. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everybody sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rozier comes in. Rozier.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rozier makes it easy to get started. You just get connected with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rozier, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's Rozier.com/LockedOnNBA. Don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rozier, stop making excuses and start making moves. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, the best way to support the show. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It's time, guys, for Make It, Take It. One headline, two takes. I decide who the winner is. Haize, you were the winner last week, which means you got ball. We're going to start with Victor Wembanyama, who put on a show last night, 40 points, 15 rebounds to lead the Spurs to a blowout win over the Dallas Mavericks. I was on game night last night, guys, and after the game, I said that I was still digesting what I had just seen. And I could say, as of this afternoon, several hours later, I'm still trying to figure it out. Haize, how far can Victor Wembanyama take the Spurs this season?
Wemby could take them far. If he plays like this consistently, there's almost no cap in how far he can take them. I'm not saying they're going to win the West or anything like that, but like they could be far ahead of schedule. And this is why I love doing the show with Matt Moore every day. But while he likes to deny really good young players while hyping up mid, role players like Dean Wade and young players on teams like the Washington Wizards, don't overlook players like Victor Wemby and what he can do in the supporting cast that he has here. Wemby playing like this and locking in. Like the times last year where they were putting wings on him, forcing him out the paint, he's going to be this aggressive, that strategy is not going to work, which is going to open up the floor for Stephon Castles and Devin Vassell's. And De'Aaron Fox didn't even play in this game. This could be a team that could make some real noise in the West, but we do got to pump our brakes and just see how long it's going to be sustained and how much Wemby's going to stay on the court.
It was an insane performance. Everybody was just like, WTF when they watched it. Like, that was the overriding reaction last night on Twitter, was just like, what is this? What is happening? The Derek Lively scoop around him was insane. He gave Anthony Davis the absolute work last night. He had a baseline pull-up fadeaway J over 2 defenders. He blocked a shot, then ran down the floor and then like dished to the outside. Like, I mean, singularly, there is nothing like Wembanyama. And in preseason, in like a scrimmage game, I made like a huge note of like, look at him. He's actually able to shoulder guys. The added muscle that he has is so incredible. There's no way to block his shot. There's no way to be able to deter anything. Like that player last night, if that's the guy we get, that's a top 5 player in the NBA, and he ain't 5. Like, that's how insane that performance was last night.
Great.
And give the points to Matt there for pointing out the added physicality. Victor Wembanyama averaged 4 free throws a game last season. He went to the line 11 times last night. Took only 2 3-point shots. You could see the evolution in his shot selection and his physicality there on the floor. Meanwhile, it was a dud of a debut in Dallas for Cooper Flagg, who finished with 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 0 assists. He went scoreless in the first half as the Spurs pulled away. Here's more from Locked On Mavericks.
Cooper Flagg, I thought, looked kind of timid early. He only took 2 shots in that first quarter, first half. Not really a lot going on at all for him. It felt like in that first half. He was just trying to fit into what he was supposed to do in this offense, and I don't know that anybody knows what they're supposed to do in this offense.
If Flagg's going to be the point guard, and this is why I don't mind if you do it later in the season or if it's over the course of a game.
But it's not like he ran like a bunch of pick and rolls with him either. That was the weird thing to me. It's like he made him. All right, I'm going to start him at the point guard.
This lineup is dreadful. It makes sense if it's like in the flow of the game, we can be massive and just overtake this team. We're getting stops now. Run.
Let's get all the rebounds in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's where it makes start of the game. I don't get it. It's why I didn't want them to do it start of the game.
You think he changes it? I think D'Lo starts game 2. I think he what's he do? He just keeps it.
So that's the conversation they're having on Locked On Mavericks. We're going to have the same conversation right here. Matt, it's your ball. Should the Mavericks change their starting lineup after just one game?
No, you can't overreact to one game. You can't overreact to one game. They didn't have it last night. Their offense, however, by the way, they are 30th in the league right now in offense going into game 2. Not a great start offensively. Defense may win championships, but that doesn't work against Victor Wembanyama. You can't get away from it. And this is one of the things is look, you committed. Cooper's your future. You've committed to putting him in this position. You got to give him time to figure it out and make mistakes. You don't have to do this immediately. If you will face easier teams, you will face easier squads. He will be able to settle in. I saw a great stat that was his stat line was almost identical to Luka Doncic's in his first game. Now Cooper's not Luka, but he's going to be incredible and he's going to be better defensively. You had a bad game. You can't overreact this early. You got to stay the course. It looks like a panic move and debilitates Cooper's confidence if you make a move immediately.
Well, I think we all said that it also looked like a panic move putting him at point guard. So I get that they are committed to him, but they're not committed to him at point guard long term. They still plan on Kyrie Irving to be that. You can't have 0 assists and 3 turnovers even and be a point. We all know that that's not Cooper Flagg's where he needs to be at. And already creating his own shot isn't Cooper Flagg's best attribute anyway. So you're putting him in a situation that's not advantageous to who and how you want him to develop. He's not Luka. He's not going to be a point guard. I think everybody kind of understands that. And why D'Angelo Russell is not a great option there either. I think you can develop Coop more in a way that's more suited to how eventually you want him to play by not having him play point guard. Now, to Matt's point, they are playing against the Spurs. Wemby was next level last night. Give it a couple of more games, but I don't think that they're overall committed to Cooper at point guard anyway. So making a change, whether it's now or in a couple of weeks, if the change is to benefit him as a player, then that's the most important thing. He's 1 game into his rookie year.
So I agree with Matt. You never want to overreact to just one game, especially when it's against Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs and just how freakish that thing is and what just happened. But I'm giving the points to Haize because I agree that in general, He shouldn't have been at point guard in the first place. It's not as if it's like, hey, we feel really good about Cooper Flagg being point guard, and now we don't. It's like we kind
I'm
of.
sorry, I'm getting penalized for not criticizing the Mavericks point guard situation enough, as I've literally all preseason been like, D'Angelo Russell's their starting point guard.
Pass points do not play into make it or take it.
As everybody knows. Last one here. Speaking of rookies, Sixers rookie VJ Edgecombe scored 34 points in his debut to help the 76ers beat the Celtics. It's the most points in an NBA debut since Wilt Chamberlain had 43 in 1959. It's the third most in a debut all time. Tyrese Maxey also had 40 on a night when Joel Embiid struggled. Haize, it's your ball. Does this young backcourt make you feel better about the Sixers' future?
It does, because the thing that I've been saying so much about the 76ers future is that you have to have something going forward to where you're building around that. And when Embiid's here, he's here. And not to say that Embiid can't still be great, but it wasn't good Embiid last night. So now having those guys, they combined for over 70 points in their first game together. We know that Edgecombe and his potential is through the roof. Seeing this early and pushing and winning against the Boston Celtics, yeah, it's a hobble Boston Celtics team, make no mistake about it. But this should reinvigorate some of the faith that maybe that the 76ers aren't as doom and gloom as what we thought. If you can start having this talent develop and flourish, this can be a really good team, and then you just make a decision on what Embiid's going to be.
I mean, that was a milquetoast take. I don't even know, yeah, it could be good. Great, good stuff here. Let's go a little bit further here and actually get into this. Joel Embiid did not struggle last night. He had 4 points in 20 minutes on 1 of 9 shooting, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a -16 worst for the game. This young core, we said this, the rest of the roster is really pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go further. The Philadelphia Sixers do not need Joel Embiid. They do not need him to compete in the Eastern Conference. They can make the playoffs and be a team that can make noise, because Tyrese Maxey has elevated and become that level of player. We've seen this. Maxey was the one organizing workouts, being the leader in preseason meetings. That kid is there. He is ready to take over with VJ Edgecombe. You got Quentin Grimes, who actually was sneaky great last night, coming off the bench. You've got Jared McCain coming back. They have enough talent. It is time for the Sixers to take this opportunity and move on, because the opportunity they have without having to worry about what they're going to get from Joel is too great to pass up on.
All right. Haize, I hope you enjoyed your moment in the sun. I'm giving the point to Matt for the Heat there. He wins round 2 of Make It, Take It, our 2-week-old segment here. We'll see what happens in week 3 next week. My favorite stat, by the way.
Matt Moore looks like he needs some time in the sun anyway. He's getting a little pasty there. So
I have no response. He might need to win that one alone.
The Clippers got embarrassed. The Grizzlies got a big boost for Ja Morant. We're going to talk about what this means for their seasons after this. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Skims. When I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I got to tell you, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give it a try. And it does live up to the hype. I've always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, just finding the right style for me. When I tell you I've gone through maybe 5, 10, 12 different kinds of underwear, it's true. Skims changed all of that. Their men's line offers something for everybody, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I tried the Skims 5-inch boxer briefs. I'm hooked. These are perfect for my active lifestyle. They move with me. They don't lose their shape. They stay in place all day. Whenever, whether I'm working out or just running errands, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your first order, select podcast in the survey. Select our show, Locked On NBA, in the drop-down menu that follows. Check out Skims. Back here on Locked On NBA Daily. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. The Locked On Podcast Network has a show for every team. So check out Locked On Trailblazers, Locked On Heat, Locked On Sixers, Locked On Celtics, Locked On Mavericks, Locked On Spurs, for everything that we've already talked about so far in the show. But we do have a few more things to get to here. This segment, guys, is called Small Things, Big Take, where we pick one subtle observation and spin it into a larger conversation. Let's start with the Clippers. In one of the more surprising results on Wednesday night, they get blown out by the Utah Jazz. Kawhi Leonard was a -25 in this game. The Clippers were considered one of the winners of the offseason based on the moves that they made. But let's zoom out here. Haize, were their acquisitions more perhaps sizzle than substance here?
No, I still think the acquisitions add substance to this team. I mean, Kawhi Leonard went 3 of 9 in this game for only 10 points. Like the Utah Jazz, Walker Kessler was making threes out there. Like sometimes you catch a team early, right? And they need to incorporate new kind of major pieces. Bradley Beal to Norm Powell. That's a big change. So I'm not gonna over analyze one game. I think that they still added some substance with their acquisitions, but the Utah Jazz, they got to get their wins early because we all know after December, they're not trying to win anything. So let them get it early.
Maybe. I told you guys they got some guys. I tried to tell you they got some guys. Bomb from 3, just absolutely ridiculous shooting last night from the Utah Jazz. I wonder how much of this is just like the Clippers with so many new pieces and new additions. But like, look, is it weird that in the first real game that they had to play after all this aspiration stuff comes out that they absolutely just get bombed? Like, that seems weird to me. Kawhi did not.
Did you say that they had a no-show game, man?
Well done, sir. I gotta be honest with you. Like, I was just really impressed with Utah. Like, I was really impressed with like how they play. Walker Kessler looks so good in this game. Some of this is the first game on the road for the other team's home opener is just tough. And I think that it's like this perfect storm of, okay, continuity, maybe a little bit of distraction with the aspiration stuff. A lot of guys getting used to new roles. Like Chris Dunn was just atrocious last night. His minutes were a nightmare. Nobody played well for the Los Angeles Clippers. Like no one played well except for Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez was good. I don't know really what to take it from this other than the Jazz are going to lose. We know that they're going to lose. We know that they're going to tank. We know they're going to be terrible. They got some guys. I'm just telling you. The Jazz got some guys. They're not good together, but they got some guys.
Let's talk about another result from Wednesday night. Ja Morant, 35 points in the Grizzlies win over the Pelicans. Here's my favorite part of the Ja Morant box score, though. 10 of 11 in the paint. Here's Joe Mullinex from Locked On Grizzlies.
Oh, no.
35 points on 20 shots, 7 of 8 from the charity stripe, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 steal. Ja Morant looked every bit a guy that doesn't have 28 other dudes in the National Basketball Association better than him. He orchestrated the offense. He was a force at the rim. The Pelicans could not stay in front of him. He hit some mid-range jumpers, showing development in his game. 2 for 6 from beyond the arc. 33% for Ja is not the worst thing in the world. Again, if he is respectable out beyond the paint, that is going to do so much for the Grizzlies offense. So Ja Morant looked formidable in his return to the floor. And again, if he was 2 for 6 from 3, that means he was 11 for 14 from the 2-point space. That's pretty darn efficient.
Matt, you were reacting to Joe there. He was alluding to the Locked On Top 100 there that we had Ja Morant ranked somewhere around 28. He always thought that was perhaps too low, but let's go big picture here. When you see a game like that from Ja Morant in the opening game of the season for the Grizzlies, do you have more trust that he is fully back?
Yes. Like, he looked explosive. He looked quick. Like, he was making moves. He was getting up and down the floor. The question is going to be like, all right, once the season sets in and he starts to get sore, what does that look like? Right? The season wears on you. Is he able to do this? And like, my whole thing with Joe is like, look, if nobody's holding Ja, it's not like Ja's been fully healthy and been doing this and we just disrespected him. People have held him accountable for not just the nonsense from 2 years ago, but for honestly how he played last year, which wasn't great. Like, he just wasn't great last year. If he plays like this, guess what? We'll all be back to like, hey, Ja Morant's top 15, top 10 player. Do the thing and it'll happen. I will note 3 assists for him is low. Ja's actually a really great playmaker. Also very quietly, I just want to make sure we mention this. Cedric Coward. Oh my God. 14 points, 5 of 5 from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, plus 24. Holy crap.
I was really high on Cedric Coward in this draft. Like, I love that Cedric Coward how that, but we also at some point got to talk about, like, what is it going to take for Jaren Jackson Jr. to stop getting into foul trouble? Like, what is it going to take? Like, that is something like, he is such a good defender, but the way that he just can't help fouling is honestly getting ridiculous. I thought that he would have gotten out of that by now. If I'm not mistaken, the year he won Defensive Player of the Year, he had averaged almost 5 fouls per game. You got to get that together because you're going to need to be on the court. That's a concern there. But Ja is, like, we know Ja is a very special player, and there's a reason why he's got knocked down a rung because of the way that he's viewed. But a healthy Ja Morant that's focused and locked in is going to be one of the best players in the NBA, period. He's a top 20 player, top 15 player. There's no doubt about that. And hopefully he reestablishes that this year. And having a player like Cedric Howard as well that can play off of him, and that's really stepping right into that void left by Desmond Bane, and maybe a better on-ball defender when it's all said and done as well. Don't count out this Memphis Grizzlies team.
Do we think that, like, Jaren, there's like I thought there was a couple of ridiculous calls on him, and there always are. One of the things that bothers me is just, like, we talk about the officiating and we're so frustrated, and guards are able to, one, grift for whatever they want, and two, if Alex Caruso suplexes someone, everyone's like, oh, what gritty defense. No fouls called. They don't, like, can't get a call. But Jaren Jackson, it's like anything he does, he's got a bad reputation with the officials, and he's done nothing to deserve it. Jaren Jackson, he had 6 blocks last night. Jaren's an incredible defender who gets a crappy whistle. And at this point in his career, with the respect that he should have earned as a DPOY, he needs to be getting a better whistle than he gets from the officials. I'm on the other side of this. I am sick and tired of Jaren Jackson and this whole thing with, like, bigs, better not go near him. Guards, totally fine if you choke him out. I'm sick of it. Let's get this officiating back to a normal place between bigs and smalls.
So which way do you want to see it? Do you want to see it lean more the physical route, or do you want to see them err on play the more safe route and calling more thing? Like, which way do you want it to go when it comes to bigs and smalls?
I want it to be way more even. My guy Adam Mares over at DMVR and All City has a really great take on this. He notes that there are no NBA referees above 6'5". There are no bigs that officiate. It's all little guys. So they're all partial to these smalls. They don't know what it's like to guard in the post. They don't know what it's like to be a big man defending. And so they got no real frame of reference here. I want more physicality. It's a delicate line. I don't want guys hurt, but I want more physicality and, like, not as much nonsense. Like, they're calling Jaren for, like, illegal screens on things that I've seen Draymond Green do his entire career and not get called for. The inconsistency is what drives me nuts.
Let's wrap it up with some previews and picks of tonight's game. We got to speed round this, guys. Just give me your picks. Thunder at Pacers. Obviously, no Tyrese Halliburton. Also, no TJ McConnell for Indiana. The Thunder won their opening game Tuesday night against the Houston Rockets. Haize, who do you like?
Thunder. Yeah, Thunder over Pacers, and then of course I'm picking the Rockets and everything.
Matt?
Thunder. Should we not do spreads today? Is that what we should not do this?
I did have a note to avoid the sports betting content. Yeah.
Thunder are gonna win this game. Pacers are not in their league. And then the late game, I actually think the Warriors are gonna take out the Nuggets in the opener.
Ooh, you think that?
Mm-hmm. I got a feeling.
The Nuggets. I'll say this: the Nuggets are going to kill them with that frontline defense we saw in the Warriors' first game.
It was one thing for the Warriors to face DeAndre Ayton against the Lakers. Now it's Nikola Jokic, and you know that they're going to take advantage of Golden State's lack of size. So give me the Nuggets on the road. That'll do it for us today. If you like what you heard, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making Locked On NBA your first listen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA.